EA.
Electronic Arts.
EA.
Electronic Arts, the video game publisher, it is restructuring its staff. It's going to affect about 5% of employees.
EA has canceled Respawn's Star Wars first-person shooter. It was rumored to be a Mandalorian bounty hunter game.
Another canceled Star Wars video game. Is the time of Star Wars video games finally over? No, it's not. I think the Star Wars video game future is bright. There is a bigger problem in the video game industry as a whole.
And the game award goes to, oh man, I have to pay a microtransaction to unlock. That's so...
Last week we received amazing news that Star Wars Battlefront was being re-released to play on next-gen consoles. We also were told that the new Mandalorian video game was in the works. Things couldn't get any better. Then I woke up today to see the news that EA has just announced the cancellation of the Star Wars FPS game.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
This news comes as a shock, especially because all the information we're getting and hearing about the game was so incredibly positive and hopeful. It didn't just seem like the regular hype, but a genuine excitement for something actually good. The announcement comes as part of a company-wide restructure by EA, where they're cutting back 5% of their workforce. To Star Wars fans, this is just another game tossed into the trash, another promise broken, another reason to not get our hopes up. Is this the result of fans not being into Star Wars anymore? Is this because the game won't sell? Actually, no. This is a problem with the entire video game industry. Gaming companies are run like big tech companies. They're beholden to the investors and the investors alone, and as a result, the goal is not to make amazing games, but instead to grow the company. Now, there are two ways you can grow a video game company. You can make amazing games that sell incredibly well, earn a ton of money, and attract the best talent to work on the next game. Lather, rinse, repeat again and again and again. Or you can purchase other gaming studios, expand the size of the company so that the company looks better, because bigger is always better, and then attracts more investors, more money, more headlines, more hype. It doesn't actually matter if you make games good or not.
EA Sports.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
So the plans of big video game companies have been to grow at all costs and to gain more investors. So it goes like this: expand rapidly, gain momentum, draw in investors, hype up as much as possible to get as much out of the investors as possible. Then when the hype falls, you restructure, cut so-called dead weight. The point is you made enough during the hype to make it through this tougher season, but this is just to get you through to the next hype cycle. And this happens again and again. A new game gets announced, more hype made, investors come. Whether the game happens or not isn't even the point. So how did we get here? Why are so many companies like EA laying off huge numbers of employees? Well, let's take a closer look at EA, because they are a perfect example of a company that plays this game better than most. They know when to get out of the hype cycle and pivot so they can move ahead. This also means because they play the game, others take notice of what they are doing and follow suit. If you want further proof, look at the reason EA gave for canceling this game and laying people off. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense at all. In IGN's article recounting the canceling of the FPS game, it says this: EA is undertaking the move in part due to what it perceives to be a rapid shift towards large open world games, massive communities, and live service games. You can't make this up. Star Wars fans have been asking for open world, asking for live service multiplayer games for years. Games that fit this model have previously been canceled. And now they give the reason here that they'd rather not make a game that doesn't fit those criteria?
It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer.
If we rewind back to 2019, this starts to make more sense. Everyone was inside, quarantined, alone. And what were they doing? They were playing video games.
We spoke
About a year ago to the day at the height of the pandemic lockdown, when everyone was gaming for entertainment, for socialization, to just escape. The big question is, can that kind of demand keep up?
The short answer, I think, is yes, and we're already seeing that. I mean, we came off an extraordinary year last year as an industry, and continue to be grateful for everything our people were able to do for our players, and the fact that our players came to spend so much time with us. But, even with such a strong year last year, we guided to an even bigger year this year. And so we're projecting that continued growth.
But here's the real problem. This is the pattern that will continue to repeat again and again, hiring and firing tons of employees and game developers. There is no stability in the gaming industry, and that, I believe, is going to be the sole reason for its downfall. The truth is, there's more money flowing into these companies. They're making more than ever, meaning the layoffs and belt-tightening is not just because we are in recession. Instead, it's a reflection of corporate business practices that are anticipating a dip coming out of the boom of 2023. This is what happens when you spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to produce a AAA title game that does not bring you back enough revenue. And now many of the employees who are being laid off are not going to return to the gaming industry. They're done with the anxiety around not knowing when they will or won't have a job. It's a brutal cycle to live and to be at the mercy of. And to be honest, I don't blame them. Many of these people got into creating games because they loved gaming, like you and me. It was their dream, maybe even to work on a Star Wars game. But when these companies being run like big tech companies like Apple and Meta, it is pushing many game developers to reconsider and move to other industries. Unfortunately, if this continues, the canceling of Star Wars games will be the least of our worries. But until us as consumers demand more, the companies will continue to do what is best for their investors and their investors only. And that means it's game over.